This is episode 52 of the Elbow Nudge Podcast.
I'm Caroline. This is Tony. And today we're talking about the movie
Coco.
Coco, Pixar 2017. But Tony, before we jump in to this beautiful film, this is our 52nd episode, as you have just stated.
It is. We made a full year.
We have come a full year, and we have a little bit of announcements, a little bit of some info.
We do?
Just a little bit. We are coming back from a break. We did have to take a little break. We had to put a huge break on El Boo Nudge and the Thanksgiving episode and everything. For those who don't know, my mom passed away October 17th. And so I just had to take some time, get myself ready, get my family, everybody, make sure everybody was okay. And Tony was very patient, very understanding of that too. So thank you as my co-host to put the podcast on pause for this. So now that I feel like we're better situated, we kind of are in a rhythm now after experiencing that personal tragedy. I feel like we're back into the rhythm of it, of like, you know what, let's get back in it. But now on a lighter kind of topic, this is the 52nd episode. We're a year in. So Tone, I have some rapid fire questions for you, and I want your gut reaction. I want the first one that pops into your mind.
I feel a little nervous.
Now you know how I feel. You have questions for me.
This is what it feels like. Okay. I don't like
it. All right, Tone. On the quick rapid fire.
Wait, hold on. You're saying gut reaction, so there's no right or wrong answer?
There's no right or wrong answer. No, not at all.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's none. There's no right or wrong answer. This is just your opinion.
All right.
Less nervous?
Yeah, now I'm in.
Okay. Go-to favorite moment from a previous podcast episode.
These apps know I'm single.
Oh man, now I'm regretting asking you these questions. Which episode was that, by the way? Do you remember?
All right, yeah. All right, so we're doing like a fun little year, like look back.
A little review, yeah.
All right, cool.
Our favorite moments from the past year.
I don't know what number it was, but it was a sneakers episode. So if you guys want to hear, I think the sneakers episode was really fun. We spoke a lot about like personal stories and stuff. So if you didn't see the movie, I think
sneakers.
We spoke about sneakers too,
but we also spoke a lot about not sneakers.
Yeah, somehow transitioned to a lot of topics. We also got our Spider-Man No Way Home review in there too.
Yeah, that's nested in there. For anybody who didn't know that, there is a Spider-Man No Way Home review nested in sneakers, and that's episode 15. Okay. I have our listings here. So I have my own answers for these questions too, since this is a back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine is Rebecca, our episode 2. And it was the moment I had just finished explaining the story of Joan Fontaine to you. And I could feel your brain like go, because you were like, whoa. And I remember doing my research for that like story of Joan Fontaine before that. And then hearing your reaction, that was so satisfying to me. That's exactly what I wanted to hear from you.
You heard my brain let out dust?
But when you were saying like, whoa, I had no idea, like all of that, like that brought me so much satisfaction.
My brain grew in size. That episode. All that knowledge.
Okay. Now, of all of our episodes in the podcast, we've covered movies that we have seen before, but we've also covered a lot of movies that we watched, first time for the podcast. Out of those movies, which one is one that you really enjoyed?
Oh, okay. I thought you almost got me on a right-wrong answer.
Can you name the movies that we saw for the pod?
Yeah, without seeing it before. First one that came to mind is The Batman.
Oh.
That was a new release.
Yeah, The Batman. Can you think of one that's like non-theater? But I guess theater counts, yeah.
So a movie that's been out, but we've never seen it. Both of us or just me?
Just you. Just which one did you really like?
The Batman.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, you know what? A lot of them, that's funny. A lot of them I've seen for the podcast. Like even Coco, I haven't seen. And then like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke and All those I have not seen. Maybe like half of these I haven't seen until the podcast.
When I was looking through the list, I was like, I've seen most of these. I made you watch all of these.
That's how this goes. This
exactly. The show is just me showing you movies that I enjoy.
You know what? Let me look at the list real quick, and I can tell you.
And I'm really surprised that your gut reaction wasn't the one that I know you for.
Really? I gave the wrong answer.
Talk to me, Goose.
Wow, a lot of these are. I'm looking at them now. Caroline, these are your movies.
Mine was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic?
I didn't see...
Oh, okay.
The first Sonic, because I didn't see it when it came out in theaters. I saw it for the podcast because Sonic 2 was coming out. And we both agreed we were going to watch Sonic 2. And I was like, I got to watch Sonic 1. And so I went and saw Sonic 1 and I loved it. But I also have like as an honorable mention, Can of Worms.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really enjoyed that one. That was a really fun watch. And that was one that I was dreading. I was like begging you to change your mind on that one.
Yeah, you're like, we don't have to go by the wheel. You know, we can choose whatever.
We can do whatever we want to
do. It was my birthday.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you can choose whatever.
It was your birthday.
And I was like, for my birthday, I want to respect the wheel. Destiny has chosen this movie.
Your voice even went that deep. God, serious.
We did the entire Oceans franchise, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the movie. Was Can of Worms the one you thought I would say?
No. The one I thought you would say was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, well, that's not a movie. That's why it didn't come to mind. That's not a movie, Caroline.
Nice save. Uh-huh. Good job.
And I know what you're thinking. It's not a film either.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a motion picture. It's masterful in every way. It's like a way of life. I don't even think about it as a movie. That's why it didn't come to mind.
You didn't see it as a film. You saw it as a sermon. It's teaching you new ways to live.
So you understand?
Yes. Right. I speak the same language you do, yes.
All right, that was good.
All right, Tom. Now, quick. Favorite episode that we've done?
Oh, that's not fair. I've been re-listening and I like... I'll say Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Give me like some of your faves. Like just rapid fire. It doesn't even have to be just one. Give me some of your favorites.
Oceans was fun to talk about. Zack Snyder's was fun to talk about. Top Gun, Maverick was fun to talk about. Yeah, those are the ones real quick in my mind.
Mine's our High School Musical 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, those are awesome. The music rankings.
The music rankings. I love it. I love our Toy Story 2. And
2 specifically?
Yeah, Toy Story 2. I liked our coverage of that one. But Sonic 2 for me also. Sonic 2 was one of my, if not my favorite, is Sonic 2. High School Musical and Sonic 2 are kind of tied though, because I love our High School Musical episode.
Yeah.
And I love Davey's reaction to our High School Musical episode. So it's just... What's
the reaction?
You're gonna have to cut this out.
Let's move on.
I don't want to put it... Yeah.
I just remembered, when you said Toy Story, after we did those episodes, I felt a deeper connection to my toys.
Yeah.
I felt the nostalgia come back. I'm like, man, this isn't...
I knew it was hitting you when you sent me a photo of your toys.
Yeah, I don't send you pictures though.
No, you don't. I was like, oh, he's in all the way.
I was holding Woody, and I sent you a picture. Like, look, Carla,
I found him. I was smiling at my phone like, oh, he's in.
And he was in New York. I went out to see him in New York. You know,
you flew all the way to New York just to see him.
Not to see my mom or
no. That second to Woody.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Tony's mom.
Good save on the name.
And last question, but this is more, we've looked to the past and now we look to the future. Just to give the audience a pulse check on you. What's your most anticipated movie going forward?
Mario.
Yeah. It's got to be Mario.
Yeah.
I was going to say other movies, but really it's Mario.
For you too? Or you're just talking
Yeah.
for you too?
No, yeah, for me, yeah.
Interesting. So not even Transformers or
Like that hype is very new, but the hype I've been living with is for Mario.
when it got delayed.
Yeah, when it got, I felt that though. I was like, oh, I want it, but
I knew the movie would be that much better.
exactly, yeah.
Guardians is like on the same level.
Guardians is on the same level, but Guardians has me worried too because it's the end of an era kind of thing. But Mario is just all excitement, looking forward to it kind of thing.
Worried that you're gonna be sad that it's over?
Yeah.
Or worried about the quality of the movie?
No, not the quality, but worried, like sad that it's over, and then you never know how some characters are going to end up, and it's just like,
oh, please don't touch my rocket, please.
That's like, you know,
James,
there's some
please.
fear associated with Guardians 3. Even though, yes, I'm excited to see it. I'm talking about me specifically, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so there's some fear associated because Guardians 3, if I was to answer like that one is like my most anticipated, but there's some fear associated. Mario is just full excitement. I want to see that movie so bad. Yeah. Sonic 3 is there, but Sonic 3 is not going to come out till like 2025 or something. So that's way in the horizon.
Can I include Avatar, or is that lame to include that?
You can include Avatar.
I really, really want to see Avatar, Caroline. I really do.
I was thinking about seeing it that Saturday after because I have something that Friday. But that Saturday, maybe we can get some tickets and go see it.
Maybe. Perhaps.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be against it.
I know you wouldn't, and you would be in a very specific location too. So
perhaps
it's possible.
It's possible.
Perhaps.
Anything's possible.
But Tony, that's all the questions I have for our elbow nudge year in review rapid fire questions. Don't abbreviate that. Do you have anything you want to say about a year of elbow nudge?
I should have thought about this.
It's nice to see after the break nothing's changed.
All right, I'll say thank you to everyone who's been listening for a year. I'm very happy to hear that you guys are enjoying it and keep on listening. And I always think of this podcast like you could pick and choose episodes you want and it's okay, but when I hear people listening week after week, I think it's so awesome. So I thank everyone for that, and I hope we could do this for as long as we're enjoying it, as long as it's fun for us. I want to keep on going another year, another 2 years, 3 years. That'll be fun.
Yep. And I agree.
That's it.
That was really sweet. Aw. We went from the ha-ha-has to the wah-wah-wahs.
Wah-wah-wah.
Like a wah, like crying.
Yeah.
But I agree. This year in the pod has been really fun. I'm so glad to have an outlet for passions and fanning out, and even like the little things that came with running the pod, like the editing and the social media and stuff like that. Like I've enjoyed all of it. And also just, I think I got to thank you, Tone. It helps to have a co-host that is really good at conversation and picking up on other things in films that I don't pick up on. So we have a good dynamic here. We have a lot of fun here. And this year,
I wanted to add a little bit more wah-wah too. Like I want to thank you too.
Add a little bit more wah-wah.
Add more wah-wah.
It's been a good year. It was a good year.
It was a good year. We could say that. Oh, but yeah, it's been awesome. I love that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We get to really dissect movies and laugh about it and enjoy it more. I think I enjoy it more after we talk about it.
I agree. After there's like a special connection to a movie after we've covered it. It's like, hey, we covered that on the pod kind of thing.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we all love Lightyear, right?
Let's talk about Coco.
All right, we can start with Coco now.
The next entry in our Pixar passage.
Now this is part of the Pixar passage.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start making a list because now we've seen a few.
I have a playlist on our YouTube channel called Pixar Passage.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
ahead of you there, boy.
All right. This is why you're here, you see?
This is specifically why I'm here.
You
Yes.
know, I'm here winging it and you're here planning it, and this is why
We have
it works.
the playlist on our channel is Decom Dynasty, Pixar Passage,
The decode.
J-
We did say that. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Ghibli Journey.
All right,
So
perfect.
if you want to see all those, you can go to our playlists and they're there.
I really hope it's pronounced Ghibli. We've been saying Ghibli, right?
It
It's
is
not Ghibli.
it's Ghibli.
All
You're,
right.
you're talking to the real fan here. Come on, man. Give me
All
some
right.
faith.
All right. All right. All right. So now we're talking about Coco.
We're talking about Coco. Now, this is a movie that I've talked on and on about since our Thanksgiving episode last year, I believe. I talked about how much I love this movie. So we know that I'm a returning viewer, but for you, this was a first time watch. So that
Yeah.
begs
I
that
want you to
begs.
take the lead on this. I'm just going to quickly say I haven't seen it, just like you said. I saw it just for this episode this year. And I'm just going to say before I let you take it, man, Pixar doesn't make them like this anymore.
I know, right? I know. When we were talking about does Pixar still make classics, I kept bringing this up. I was like, Coco is a classic. Like it is. And you were like, I haven't seen it. I
But I
haven't
feel like
seen
you
it.
were a little bit more defending of Pixar, right? Do you feel like,
Yeah,
it's the.
I was definitely pro Pixar classics.
And I was watching this, I'm like, I haven't felt Pixar movies do this. Like, feel of this quality, this type of story, and these type of emotions like this well recently.
Hmm.
Recently.
And so this one is it makes it on the classic board for you then, right?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so.
That my next question was what do you think? But we'll dive into that when we
Yeah.
jump around.
But yeah, why did we watch this, Caroline?
So according to our schedule, we were doing El Nudge, and then obviously, my thing happened, and we had to put a but what we had always planned was that after El Nudge, was Dia de los Muertos, which is November 2nd. And so I had told Tony, hey, after El the first week of November, let's do Coco to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. And when we were talking about coming back, we didn't really like, at least for me, I didn't even think about changing the movie. I was just like, hey, are you ready to come back? And you said, yeah. And I was like, okay, we're watching Coco, right? And you're like, yeah. So this was always in our horizon that we were going to do this. But I think, especially after experiencing like a personal tragedy, and especially what this movie touches on, it was kind of nice to tackle a movie like this.
Yeah, how did you feel watching it more recently?
Oh, dude, I have a box of tissues right next to me
Empty
because
now?
it's, you know what? It is pretty light. It's not empty, but it is. It's gonna get there.
I gotcha. It was very emotional.
It was. You know what? Let's just get out of the way. Did you cry?
This, that is a question, right?
Did you cry? Because we should.
Tell them why. Yeah, tell them why.
Yeah,
Tell them
yeah,
why you're
yeah, yeah,
asking me
yeah.
that question.
As hopefully our listeners would know, we watch a lot of these movies together, but there are times where sometimes schedules conflict and we have to watch it on our own. But Tony specifically brought up a point when it came to this movie because I had thought we were going to watch together. But Tony is the kind of guy that can't get emotional when he's with friends, when he's watching a movie with friends. You can't cry, is that right?
Yeah, I can't let my guard down, you know. I gotta hide the tears.
You hold back your tears, as you put it so eloquently, like a water hose, like holding them
Yeah,
back
it's
until they
off.
just.
Yeah, until they explode at night when I'm about to go to sleep.
Your head hits the pillow, you bundle up, and then.
Exactly.
So you request, and you said this movie's pretty emotional, and I said yes, and you said, "Am I probably going to cry?" And I said yes, and then you said, "So to get the full experience, shouldn't I watch it by myself?" And I agreed because I don't want to be a hindrance for your
Yeah, I said, you
emotions.
tell me, should I watch it on my own or should we watch it together? Because should I cry? You know, should I get it out while
Yeah,
watching this movie?
and I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
should, you should."
All right. So I will say I didn't cry, but I felt the emotions very strongly, and it was weird because I want you to tell me which parts got you because I feel like there's a lot in this movie, but
There's a lot, yeah.
it didn't get to me for a long time. All like the movie was playing for a long time. And then once it got to when Miguel and Hector were in the underwater,
Mm-hmm.
the cave, they were like thrown into this cave to, I don't know, rot there until they disappear, get forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it finally got. And I even thought the moment it happened, I thought like, oh wait, I thought this was supposed to be a sad movie. And then that's when Miguel whips out the picture and is like, oh my gosh,
Yep.
it's connecting.
Yep.
That's a,
It's it. We're family.
yeah, that was good. That's the first time where I felt like, oh, like I felt it in my chest. My heart was warming up. It started beating a little bit.
The Grinch, like the X-ray over your heart,
Yeah,
it just goes boom, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom. No, for me, it's two scenes, and I got them right here. One, "Remember Me," the lullaby, like not when Hector is singing it to Coco, but when Miguel is bringing back the memories at the
yeah.
end.
Okay.
That oh, Tone, I was crying. Even yesterday when I saw the movie, I was crying, and then today I rewatched it while I was waiting for you. Just like some key scenes that I really like, and I was crying again. There's
Which
a
scene did
reason.
your dad see?
When no, he walked in during the "Remember Me," and he was like, ugh.
To Baby Coco?
No, 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 the Miguel like
Oh,
singing to
Miguel?
Coco.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So it's that same scene.
he walked in at the end and he saw it. And he was like, ugh.
He just saw it for 1 second and the tears.
He for those who don't know, I told Tony yesterday that I was watching Coco, and my dad came in to tell me something, and he walked in and he saw my TV, and it was that scene. It was of Miguel singing to his grandma, and he looked at it, and I could already see his eyes watering. And I was telling him, "No, no, no, go close the door, go to work, bye," because he was already feeling it. He was feeling the emotion.
That was such a great build up to that moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And then the second scene is, the year later, Dia de los Muertos. You see now Mama Coco, her photo is on the ofrenda. And that's where it starts building for me. But when the tears can't hold anymore is when Hector picks up like Coco and hugs her and kisses her and like swings her around and then they start walking across the bridge. I lose it. I'm losing it.
Yeah, what a clever way to show that she passed away too. They put the picture on the ofrenda.
Yeah, and it's just that's all you gotta say. You don't have to show anything else, but just
Yeah.
the grandma, like, because that's Coco's his great grandma. So like
Hmm.
the grandma, the abuela, putting the photo on the ofrenda, and you're like,
Did we
oh,
like Abuela, by the way, or
oh yeah, I love her. Like, don't get me wrong. Of course at first she's a very harsh woman, but you see the duality of it because
I
you know
didn't like her all the way until she finally accepted music.
no, because she reminds me of my abuela. She's very much even that like Miguelito tito. Like my abuela would do that.
Okay.
And even the like when she was feeding him food and she was like, uh, how did it go? But it was like,
Like more
Miguel,
tamales or
do
something.
you want more tamales? Oh no. Yes. And he's like, that's what I thought. Putting the tamales on his plate. The my favorite one of my favorite lines is when she throws the shoe at Dante. She's walking down the street and then she goes, "Now go get my shoe.
Yeah, go get my shoe.
Go get my shoe." I love her. She's just that's every abuela. That's it right there. Even what she's wearing, my abuela wears that. Like the floral nightgowny dress with an apron. Like they just
This is so authentic.
this is so authentic. So I love her. But and she learns in the end.
But she broke the guitar that he made.
But think about it. Like,
No.
think about it. Think about it.
All right, I'll think about it.
You're like, I've thought
What?
about it. No.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll think about it. Go ahead.
Think about it. Like, this movie, I was watching Cinema Therapy. They're a really good YouTube channel for those who don't know. And they do really cool, really funny breakdowns of films and how, like, the emotional aspect of it all. And their take on Coco is really entertaining. They talked about like the intergenerational trauma of it all, where a lot of times you just have a thing in your family that your family just does. And it's because like years ago, your grandma, your great grandma, grandfather, whoever experienced something and passed that down. And so like I was thinking about that and I thought my family has that same thing, but it's just it's not music because my family loves music, but for their family, it was like, oh, Mama Imelda and Mama Coco were abandoned by the musician, so we hate music, and so that gets passed down, down, down to each family to where, you know, abuela, the abuela, she was raised with that mindset, probably listening to her grandma tell her, like, we don't hear music in this house, the Riveras are shoemakers and all of that. So that's just something that she was ingrained with her whole life.
That one I had to kind of, suspend disbelief because I'm like, who doesn't like music to that extent?
Especially Mexicans.
Yeah,
Like,
in Mexico, how do you not
Mexico,
like
you can't.
music?
Mexico is the most, like, we're so musical. It's impossible.
But that's what makes it a compelling movie, right? Because it's well, how
Exactly.
are you
Like,
Mexican and you don't like music in Mexico?
that's the story though. It's like, here's this Mexican family and their thing is they hate music. It's like, what? That's like finding an Italian family that hates tomatoes. It's impossible.
Or spaghetti or
Or
lasagna.
garlic.
Or talking with their hands.
Finding a vampire Italian, impossible. Talking with their hand.
You just
It just hit me. This is how an Italian talks. They're doing the hand motion. Mamma mia.
we have a little example of that. My stepmom, she growing up, I think she was like always pushed to do like the ironing chores and like folding of clothes and stuff like that. And then
Oh.
I think I told you, but yeah, she hated ironing after she had to do it so many times. And now in the house, because of that, like we don't iron any clothes. Like we just that's what all my shirts are just go directly on a hanger. It never has to be ironed. Like I don't even think we have an iron in the house because yeah,
Wow.
she just hated ironing so much, and we just worked around it. And now I was like, oh, I guess you kind of don't need an iron.
For us, it's our names. My grandma. So, like, also just for backstory, I'm half Mexican. For people who don't know, my other half is Spanish from Spain. But my mom always liked to say it was Texan, but like they came directly from Spain to Texas, like what the land before it was known as
So when
Texas.
Carl asks if you're a Texan woman,
I am a Texan woman, yeah.
all right, good.
Because they came straight from Spain during the Spanish Inquisition and then settled in the land that was Texas. And then they like helped build the Alamo. They like participated in the liberation of Texas from Mexico. And then, they've been here forever, that side of my family. But my grandma, because she was bilingual and she had a Spanish name, like a España, and it was Herminia. And she grew up during the time that there was a lot of prejudice towards Mexican and Spanish speaking people. So, like, she has memories of being a little girl and walking into a gas station with a sign that said, "We don't serve Latinos." And at one point, she walked into a convenience store to get a glass of water or something, or to get something for her parents, and they just kicked her out. They were like, "No, we don't serve you here." And so she grew up with that prejudice. So she told like herself, like, I never want my kids to go through what I'm going through. So she like vowed to name her kids English names. So she's like, they're going to have proper English names. So like my aunt is Cynthia, my mom was Carol, my other aunt is Rose, and then my uncle is Frank. So like these are English names. And then
Mm.
they were never raised with like Mexican dishes, Tex-Mex dishes. When they were at home, their dinners were burgers, meatloaf, hot dogs, like all American food. So that way when they would go and like she never taught them Spanish. They always spoke perfect English. Like she didn't even want them to have an accent. It was just, you guys need to sound and look American. And that like traveled down to where even my parents, like my aunts and my mom, when they named us, like my cousins and myself, we all have English names. Like my cousins are Alexander, Victoria, and I'm Caroline, and then there's David, and like that was still trickling downward of like, no, we're going to name you English names, because even though now you don't really see any of that. Like obviously we're not going to walk into a gas station in San Antonio and have them be like, we don't serve Spanish speaking
Yeah,
people. Like that's
Juanita,
not.
you're not allowed in here.
Maria, get out. It's like
Maria, Hector, Juan, you're none of you guys are allowed.
you're not
De
the
la
Juan
Cruz,
for me.
no, get out of here.
Forget you. Like, obviously, that's not going to happen now, but that was still like a thing for them. And even my cousin, she named her little girl an English name. Like, that's just something that we weren't even thinking about. And it wasn't until my other cousin, he named his son finally like Antonio. He was like, no, we're breaking it. I want to name him Antonio. And that's where it's like, okay, we're getting back into it. But for the longest time, like, with these three generations, it's all been English names.
Did your mom and dad ever consider? Did they tell you any other names they were considering for you
They
or Davy?
did. Yeah. Well, Davy, no. Davy has no choice. Davy was going to be David no matter what. My mom only had a choice for the middle name, and so she chose Jonathan.
Okay,
But yeah, for me, I was going to be Rebecca. I was going to be Rachel.
so still more typically American.
Yeah, very American, very like Bible names. So like go like Ruth and Abigail and stuff like that. But they were going to be like American names.
And that's already made it so far down the generation where it's not even a
It's not even a thing anymore.
yeah second thought.
Mm-hmm. Like
Interesting.
my grandma passed away when I was like 8, no, like 13. I was already a little older. But like she passed away and then you go to like my cousins, they're having kids now and they were the ones that were like, "No, we're still going to name them English names." It wasn't until my cousin recently who had a baby. He was like, "No, you know what? We're not going to do English name. We're going to go Antonio." Like it just got broken.
And that's a pretty good name.
I like it. Yeah. Are you a little biased to that?
No,
I know it's not yours, but it could
could be.
be.
It's pretty close.
He is named after my uncle Tony.
No, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, that is like a little thing, and I think every family has that thing.
Yeah, that's interesting because that one is hard to miss. It's just like, oh, we just do it. I mean, we
You don't
actually
think
you wouldn't even notice it because it's just names.
Mhm.
But this is like music. We gotta avoid music.
Music. No
Shut the
music.
windows. Yeah, close the doors whenever there's music nearby.
That's impossible for me. I was jamming out today when I was cleaning my room.
I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I could live with this family.
Ha.
And it's such a. I think they're really underplaying how cool it is to make shoes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's so cool to
I
make
think it's
shoes.
so cool. Yeah.
I was looking at when they were talking about like all the shoe types that their like the family in the past had made. I was like, I want those boots. I want botas.
Yeah. What do they call it? Like the
Oh,
wingtip shoes or something,
wingtips and
and sandal looking ones.
they're called something, and I'm gonna fail my Mexican test.
Uh oh.
I can't remember.
I think is a very cool skill to have if you can make shoes.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, you know what? I think I could make that trade off if I had to.
You can make a lot of money with that. Like there's some boot places here in San Antonio. If you want custom boots, you're gonna pay like minimum $6,000.
Wow. You see? And what's music gonna get you?
Top 100 Billboard, a Grammy.
You'll be at the end of somebody's Spotify Wrapped.
Aww.
Wait, that's good, right? They played your song
Why
a
do you
lot.
say it so negatively? You say it like it's an insult. What are you
I'm
gonna
flipping
get?
back and forth. I'm
It's
not even
you're
sure
just
what
gonna
team I'm
be
on.
number one on somebody's Spotify
I don't even
Wrapped.
know what team I'm on anymore. Team shoes or team music? What's more important?
Music.
How are you gonna walk on the sidewalks?
I can go barefoot. I'm already team barefoot. I walk barefoot in my house.
How are they gonna let you in restaurants?
I'll put like
No shirts, no shoes, no service.
I don't know. On the South Side, they're probably used to it.
Barefoot people walking in the restaurant.
I've seen barefoot people at the mall, and I love barefoot, but that disgusts me. I'm like,
What? Inside of a mall?
inside of a mall. I was walking from Macy's to the GameStop, and I looked, and there was a white girl walking by with bare feet.
That's how they do it on South Side.
Well, I was in the North Side Mall.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that
that
doesn't make
changes
any
things.
sense. That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, she was probably from the South Side visiting, right?
Aw.
All right, all right, all right. We'll move on. All right, Caroline, I got some comparisons to make here.
Okay.
I think you probably noticed this too if we're in the same frame of mind. So, Remember Me
Mhm.
in the movie.
Mhm.
We'll get more into detail, but you know how De La Cruz ended up with the song,
Yeah.
after he poisoned Hector and stuff.
With
But
chorizo.
the first thing that I thought when you hear De La Cruz sing "Remember Me" and then when you hear Hector sing "Remember Me," I thought this is just like Sharpay and Troy and Gabriella,
Oh, no.
right?
No,
Right? It's
no.
two different versions of the song, and one is
Oh,
the
no.
Caroline. Do you not agree?
I hate this. I
There's
hate
two
this.
different versions of
I
the
hate that
song.
you're right. I hate this comparison. Oh my gosh. Remember me. Remember me.
Yeah,
Though
that
I
one is
have
like
to say
upbeat.
goodbye. Remember me. Don't let it make you cry. Yeah, that's the what's it called? Da 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 da
You were
da
always there
da.
beside me.
Whoa, oh.
Yeah.
The snaps.
So you didn't think the same thing,
I did not, but now that you've awakened it, I see it. I see it.
right? One ruined the original message of the song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But in High School Musical, that version was better.
No,
But
no,
here,
no,
no, we're talking about
no.
Coco. We're talking about Coco. I promise. But in Coco, Hector's version was better. I can admit that.
Hector's version is so sweet, and
Yeah.
I love that song. Remember Me? I even like it by the pop, like, like the pop cover that they play at the end. Um,
Yeah.
I love it. It's
I
done
like
by
how they all sound, to be honest.
yeah,
Even
yeah, even De La Cruz.
yeah, even De La Cruz. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I like that song across the board. It's not my favorite song, but I do like it.
But the lyrics don't make sense when you sing it like De La
Happy.
Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and I really think that that was a smart thing to do because it totally erased the meaning, and it just seemed like that was something De La Cruz was doing. He was just stealing the emotion and the heart from Hector's songs and just trying to make it mainstream. Because when you look at the lyrics to Remember Me, it's very emotional and very like, it should be slow, a lullaby, and things like that.
Yeah, there's so many good aspects of like, well, not good aspects, but a lot to talk about there because it's like you said, he made it more pop, or not even pop, but more accessible to a wider
He
audience.
made it, yeah, like he made it mainstream. He made it to where what are
Yeah.
the majority of people gonna like in this song and making it like,
And I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, that's his mindset, to be remembered, just
hmm
like the song says, and to be the most popular.
he wants to be number one. He wants to be the guy.
Yeah. But then Hector, I feel like I really heard the lyrics once he sung it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, oh, that
absolutely.
makes sense. The way he's singing it makes sense.
When I was first that was my experience the first time I watched this movie, when I heard the song, like, "Remember Me," the pop version kinda thing, the happy one. I didn't pay attention to the lyrics, I was just looking at the spectacularness, I was hearing his, like, when an artist thinks they sound good, so they add a lot of inflections to their voice?
Are you talking about Fergie?
Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to mimic it, but I don't even wanna do that. But, and he does a lot of that, like, "Me," when he does it at the end and everything.
Yeah.
And you can barely understand some of what he's saying because of that. Like, he's showing off. He's showing off a lot of his vocal talent and the spectacle of it all and the dancing, the lights, but when we get to experience the real song the way it was intended, just a dad and his daughter, a guitar in a bedroom, and a lullaby, it hits you. It hits you more. Like the lyrics, the meaning, the everything.
Now, I will say, I think this happens with pretty much every movie, but there's a very simple fix to these problems. They could have just had a conversation and say, like, hey, Hector, I understand you want to see your daughter. You think you could leave me with some songs, so I can continue the tour or whatever? And I think it would have been like, sure. Yeah. And I know the credit thing was also a problem too. Like, oh, he's never been given credit. That's another problem. But you'd think, killing the guy's a little extreme,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Because Hector was fine with writing him songs. right? But what he really
Yeah.
wanted was just to go back home. He's been away from home too long to see his daughter.
I do see what you're saying, but I also see the logic that the movie is presenting where I can't remember what he said specifically, but like De La Cruz is saying, we're here, we're on the verge of a break, like we're gonna make it. Why would you quit right now, right before we've made it? And you can feel the desperation to be famous from him and to think like I'm so close. I need him. I need his songs, his music. He's taking that with him, taking my last chance with him. I have to take him out.
Think he did the music as well, or you think De La Cruz did the music? Because he could actually play guitar.
He can play guitar, but I think the songs belong to Hector. So when Hector was leaving, he had the sheet music and everything in
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah, yeah.
So like De La Cruz wasn't even going to get that.
Well, I know De La Cruz wasn't the type of guy to be reasonable. You're right about that. He was too focused on the fame.
Mhm.
But I think if there was a mediator, they would have been like, "Hey, you think you could just leave the songs you wrote?"
Well, yeah, absolutely. If there was
Right?
a third person, yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to walk into the movie and just be like, "Hey, hey, De La Cruz, listen, buddy. I know this is your big
Put
break.
the poison down. Hold on a
put
second.
put down that chorizo.
Hector, put down the chorizo.
So do not take a bite."
This is why you need managers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first thought. I'm like, maybe they could have worked it out, but then you don't have a movie. That's
You
a
don't
problem.
you don't
That's a
have a
problem.
movie.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We don't have this great movie.
Yeah.
This is a little off topic, but I love all the lingo in this movie. They know how Mexicans speak. This is what I heard people talking like growing up.
Did anyone say orale?
I don't think I heard an orale.
I didn't hear it.
That's a Tex-Mex.
Okay.
No orale, no ora. But the when he goes like a ver, like look up, a ver, like that's yeah.
I was hearing the Spanish version for a little bit. I was playing it out for a bit,
Oh,
yeah. And I think that's the true way to really watch this.
I think that's why Disney Plus has like you have Coco and then Coco en español and then Coco
Yeah, en
sing along. Like
español.
they know, they know en español. That's the way.
I was wondering if they were gonna go overboard with the Spanglish, because when there's like games do this, shows do this. Like whenever somebody knows English and Spanish, they just drop in Spanish whenever, and it's like that's not how people talk. You're either talking one language or another language. It's rare that they would drop words like that. But no, I think this was a good balance.
I think it was a very organic balance because a lot
Yeah,
of times I know for myself, I can drop in and out of not English and Spanish because I don't speak Spanish fluently, but like I speak Spanish slang. And I think I have a memory of I was on the phone with Carl and I was with my mom. And typically when I talk to like you or Carl, like when I talk with friends, I try to, you know, beat the Spanglish out of my accent and my voice so I don't. I talk proper E kind of thing. Proper ish. But
properly,
proper E, like proper ish.
not properly. You don't want to say properly.
Kind of proper is what I'm trying to get across. I don't talk proper at all. It's kind of
Proper e,
proper
proper ish.
E, proper ish. Kind of. Case in point right now.
Yeah, good point.
But I was on the phone with him and my mom was there and she was like, put it on speaker. And when her and I talk, we go full slang. She would say something and I'd go, ora, like, why are you saying? Like, it would just be, no, hombre, tú crees, like dropping that everywhere. And so, those are ways that I speak, like the way I speak with my dad and the way I speak with my family, that the movie kind of got a hold of that. Like, we don't, drop it in and out like the way these shows and video games do, but we do sometimes like exclaim and make just little inserts of Spanish here and there. And I like the way they did it. It was very natural.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like Forza Horizon 5,
Oh gosh.
and they just randomly drop Spanish phrases, and it's like this is not natural.
I'm thinking of Cyberpunk. When you first play the game, not to spoil Cyberpunk the game for anybody, but you have a best friend and he's Spanish. I don't know what kind of Spanish, but he's Spanish. And he like too much. Every sentence is like a Spanglish
Half
mix.
Spanish, half
Yeah,
English.
yeah. And it's like, okay, man, you can lower it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. But this was fine. I wanted to say when I talk to my mom and dad, they speak full Spanish and I speak full English the
Oh,
entire time. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And the only time I would speak Spanish is if they're not understanding something I'm trying to explain.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, yo tenía que ir ayer. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta drop the Spanish.
You're like, this isn't working. I gotta go to the.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I gotta speak their language now. Here goes nothing.
I speak very broken Spanish. It's very minimal. I can understand it. I can understand Spanish just fine, but although the World Cup has been causing me to question that. I've been watching it and I thought I understood Spanish, and then I hear the announcers talking Spanish, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand
I don't think
this.
even the Spanish understand what the announcers say. When I was watching it at my sister's house, because when I saw the first Ecuador game, it was on Telemundo, and I'm
Uh-huh.
just ignoring the announcer. And then when I see it at my sister's house, we're watching it on Fox, and then I'm like, "Oh wait, is English announcers?" And she's like, "Yeah, I can't really stand the Spanish announcers." I'm like, "Wow, this seems kind of nice because they're not like in a panic and they're not rushing all their words out."
Like I can't even mimic it because it speaks so fast.
Yeah, they speak so fast.
I do just love whenever they go
Yeah,
go, like holding that note.
yeah. They're the masters of hype.
They are.
Hold on, I do want to bring something up. The We're jumping around, right? Because we always do this.
Absolutely.
After De La Cruz is exposed
Bum bum.
to be evil,
He's a fraud. He's
he's
a
a
fake.
fraud. Yeah,
Forget you.
I have a lot of questions about this. First of all, Miguel comes back to the land of the living. How did he manage to convince this town of Mexico that De La Cruz is bad? Because on their statue they put like "forget you." You know, they're like shun him. They shunned him when before they praised him. They had a statue. They had murals of him and shrines, and they have his guitar, and they love this guy. But then when it did the 1 year later,
Mm-hmm.
remember when it says like "forget
Forget you.
you"? Yeah, how does he manage to convince everybody that he is actually a bad guy?
I'm thinking like because the Mama Coco said she saved all his letters. So one, the letters prove that Hector wrote the songs. So that's already one thing. And then I'm thinking, what if you get a little Law and Order with it? Start asking people that knew De La Cruz and Hector to be like, hey, even though they're probably old, you're getting like old people.
I don't think any of them existed, right? Shouldn't that generation all be?
You would think, but there's got to be like I don't see it as impossible, but it is just really hard to be like, oh hey, we can prove that this guy was actually a big fake. He stole all his work from his old partner.
But he didn't steal it. All the songs were written. They worked together for a long time.
I think he stole the credibility because he stole the credit because he claimed that he wrote each song when that's not true. They were written by Hector.
Do they get into details about that? I don't remember.
They
He definitely never gives credit, but does he ever say like, "I write my own music"?
I know there was a part in the movie where Miguel comments that Ernesto is like this great songwriter or whatever, and then Hector says like, "Oh please," like he couldn't even write his own song if he wanted to, or something like that. Like he makes a comment that Ernesto had no talent for songwriting, that Hector was the one that did it all.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they could get him on the songwriting thing, but
This is such a you thing to focus on. I was like, Tony, just embrace the logic of the film. You're always trying to be
this
like,
is what comes up.
this is not that realistic, Caroline. It's like, Tony, we're watching a Pixar movie.
I need my kids' movie to be grounded in reality.
Oh my gosh. Well, already it's not because Mexicans don't hate music.
That's what I couldn't get past.
That's already, I can't get into it.
I'm like, oh, here we go. And Papel Picado doesn't even animate like that either, Caroline.
Oh, you know that personally.
Yeah. I was watching it at the party. I'm like, yep, They look still to me.
Well, our papel picado was plastic, and I think the papel picado in Mexico is made a little bit different.
So those animate?
Wait, what?
So since they're made different, they animate?
Yeah.
All
They're
right.
lighter. They blow in the wind.
Caroline, everything I'm bringing up did not detract from the movie. I'm bringing
Oh,
them up
okay,
just for
sure.
the
All
sake of
right.
conversation.
Just a banter here.
Yeah. Here's another question I have that deeply sat in my mind as I thought about this
Oh
movie.
no.
All right. Everyone also okay, there's a lot of questions actually. Well, I need to build up to it. This cyberpunk Mexico heaven, is it only for
Oh my gosh. I almost had I physically had to put my elbow on my desk and grasp my head full face pop when I heard that sentence.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
You're kind of wrong because that's not
Okay.
what they were going for.
What were they going for?
They're actually the design of the Land of the Dead is based on Howl's Moving Castle. So you haven't seen it yet. That is a future
This looks more
episode in the
technologically
making.
advanced.
Actually, they made an effort to make it not technologically advanced. Like they use those old IBM computers and
Yeah,
like
that was cool.
payphones. They do that because that
They don't have
technology.
restrooms.
They do that because that technology is dead. Get it? Like it's obsolete. So that's
So
what
they
the
probably
land of.
have Skype.
They probably have Mixer.
Oh, that's so fun to think about. They have Anthem on there.
Oh,
They definitely have M plus.
oh, that's where the multiplayer is, Tone. That's where they all
That's
at.
where. Can't wait to go.
No, 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 no.
All right, all right. It looked like a cyberpunk city to me because it was like hundreds of stories high of just buildings, and you see cranes of them like continuing to build, and then you see like those the way that he gets to De La Cruz's party is this cool looking monorail. It's not a monorail, it had more than one
Yeah,
rail,
yeah, yeah. But
but
it's
you
like
know what I mean. It's like
huh.
really cool stuff that's going on there. But you're right, there's old technology, but it looked, I don't know, like a futuristic design.
The colors and the way that it's stacked up, the formation of the buildings, the artist from Pixar. This is where I was telling you how Pixar and Ghibli they take a lot of inspiration from each other. So Pixar they modeled like the colors and the design and the structure from the design of the castle in Howl's Moving Castle. So they saw that and they're like, "Oh, we like the colors and the way that it moves and the formation of it." And then they also like the bathhouse from Spirited Away. So those were like colors and formations that they imported into this to make it look like a city of it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
We'll see Howl's Moving Castle soon,
That
soon enough.
is on the list
Yeah,
upcoming.
for the Ghibli journey.
Mhm.
All right, what was I getting at? Oh yeah, so in this play, oh, so it's not a heaven.
Well, I guess it is.
Okay,
It's Mexican heaven. This time we're not in hell.
that's another thing I was gonna ask.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Is it only for Mexicans?
It's only for those who have their picture up on the ofrenda.
No, because you could be there
Yeah, no, you can
and
be
not.
there, and then you don't. But
But it's only for Mexicans,
oh my gosh!
right? I just need to know if I could play M plus multiplayer when I get there. If I get there.
How to be an honorary Mexican?
Caroline, could you bless me with a golden leaf to allow me?
Tony,
Huh?
I give you this leaf, this paper.
Uh-huh. Under one condition.
You cannot play N plus multiplayer. Pink.
No, sir.
You
I
come back
cannot
like
accept
Miguel.
that. I cannot accept that. I'm gonna ask Davey.
Aw.
I need to find a gamer who will let me back.
You're
All
like
right.
running away from me in the gate like the grandma and Miguel, and I'm
Yeah,
over there
yeah.
like, I watched the Game Awards. I can prove to you I'm a gamer. I played Cyberpunk day one.
All right. Questions are being answered here.
I'm
This is,
glad.
but here's the real question. We're building up to it. This is the one that I was actually thinking about,
Okay.
and they were kind of answering for me. But all these skeletons that you see here, and I don't know what we're gonna call it,
The land of
the
the
afterlife.
yeah.
They all look to have died at a certain age, like maybe 40
Yeah.
or 45. And then that made me think, how are they all at that age? They were all like parents to children. And then I started thinking, what happens if you die of old age? And then we see Coco as an
Mhm.
old skeleton. So does that mean every other skeleton died at
At that age,
a relatively young
young.
age? Yeah, 40, 45.
I mean, I guess if that's the logic of the movie.
Because Hector makes sense. He was poisoned when he
Mhm.
was young.
And you know, he does look younger than his wife.
And he actually, yeah, you're right. And I'm just saying 40 as a random number. 40. He was
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
like 30. I don't know, 35, whatever the age is.
Somewhere around
But
there.
yeah, but every skeleton looks like that. I don't think you even see an old skeleton until Coco shows up.
The one that's forgotten, he's kind of old looking, but yeah, like they're all relatively like there's no elderly.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Are they being forgotten?
It means that Mexicans should not eat so much chorizo
Tamales.
because
Oh.
yeah, both because maybe our lifespan be a little different.
A good short life. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I was even thinking that I'm like, what if Coco passed away? What would her skeleton look like?
Oh,
And then she did.
it's a good thing we didn't watch this movie together. If you would have voiced that out loud, I don't
I
know if I
wouldn't
would have
have
been
said that.
quiet.
I would have been thinking it the whole time. I waited until we spoke about it right here.
I don't know. You do have the tendency to talk a bit when we're watching a movie
Don't
together.
bring that up again. I'm still recovering. There's some things that I could wait on.
Uh-huh. I'm listening.
Yeah, don't listen to that episode where Caroline calls you out.
Which one was that? I can't remember.
I'm saying, yeah, I know exactly what it was too. I'm not saying it. All right, now let's talk about De La Cruz since we're talking about people
De la
and getting
Cruz.
forgotten. He
Benjamin
will,
Pratt.
he will unfortunately live forever. Correct?
Yeah.
He will never be forgotten
Yeah.
by people who love him and by people who hate him. He could live in infamy forever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like Selena and Yolanda.
Oh yeah,
What's her name? I know it's Yolanda.
it's Yolanda.
Sandival.
It's just Yolanda.
Sandoval. One of those.
Yeah,
Saldivar. That's what it is. The murderer.
yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like you remember Selena, but then you'll also remember Yolanda, even though Yolanda hasn't passed yet.
I feel like this is just a kids movie. I know that, but
Do
I
you?
feel like this sort of relates to
Go.
you know when the Dahmer Netflix is.
Oh no! You know what? Don't go on. Let's put the brakes.
I think you're gonna like this
It was a
comparison.
good episode. Okay, go on.
You remember the conversation around that, right? About giving a bad person all this attention and fame. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of like that. It's like, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do. I'm just bringing it up to bring it up, but like they're gonna live on forever. People will remember them forever, regardless if they were a great person or a really bad person.
I think it is important to also have that distinction of, yeah, we're gonna remember you forever, but we are gonna remember you as a bad person. You're not gonna get that. Like, it's one thing when you're living under the guise of being a good person and you're actually a bad person. Once that's come to light, then it's like that's the stain on your reputation. That's the way you would. I don't know. Like that's the justice even after you've passed. Is that now you have that title.
But you know, people are putting De La Cruz on their ofrenda.
You know, people like are gonna have him on their Spotify Wrapped.
I bet they did when this movie came out. I bet they did.
I bet they had the Remember Me De La Cruz version.
I bet there are some people who do like remember me.
Remember me. Da-da-da-da-da-da, remember me.
Who are those people out there? Who likes this guy?
Who are you, doctor?
Where are you? Something interesting to think about. Also, he didn't want to go back to the land of the living.
No, he liked being there forever because that was his paradise. That's what he's wanted all along.
Yeah. And, you know, you got me thinking it's supposed to be old technology, but they had like 100-inch screen, you know, a flat screen OLEDs projecting his concert, and you know they had spotlights, and
I mean, we went to the moon in the 60s.
that's true. But look at how we did it. Like the computer screens look like the Matrix.
Tony, let's stop trying to poke holes in this film.
I'm not poking holes.
I
These are
feel
the thoughts that the movie give me.
feeling some pokes.
These aren't pokes. This is me just I'm liking.
You say that holding a needle in your hand.
All right, Caroline, you bring up something. I'm done poking.
So Tony, this is not a musical, but a movie that has music. Can you give me a rapid fire song ranking?
Okay, so we have Remember Me, we have Un Poco Loco, we have
Llorona. Llorona del azul celeste.
oh, okay, that's what the great
The great grandma.
great grandma sung.
Mama
Okay.
Imelda. And then what's it called? The Señoras y señores, buenas tardes, buenas noches. The world is mi familia.
Oh man, that was good.
Mm-hmm. And the proud corazón. The Ay mi familia, oiga mi gente. You know that one at the end?
Who sung that?
Miguel. Our love for each other
Oh,
will live on forever.
yeah. This is when he can actually enjoy
Like,
music.
yeah, embrace it.
Yeah.
So we have 5 songs. Un poco loco, Remember Me, Llorona, World is mi familia, and Proud Corazon.
I can't give you a good list because I didn't hear them enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Just
my
rapid
gut
fire.
feeling was Un Poco Loco #1.
Yes! I knew it.
You're clapping like
I
The Rock.
knew it. I knew it. Yes.
I'm changing my answer. I don't
No,
want to be like
no.
Remember Me by De La Cruz.
You're just doing it on purpose. No,
Remember
stop.
me.
How dare you? You meanie. I was going to say, what is the best song and why is it Un Poco Loco?
Because it's fun. Final answer.
It is the best song. Oh my gosh. The best song is Un Poco Loco.
Yeah, I was saying I can't give you a good quick fire list because I don't remember the other 3 songs that well. Just Remember Me and Un Poco Loco. And Un Poco Loco immediately stuck out and was like, it was a really good listen.
That's a great song. That's our
Yeah.
favorite. When I have like a family playlist for whenever my fam would just cook or we would go out to the pool and stuff, and Un Poco Loco was in that playlist. And we knew as soon as, because like on the soundtrack, it starts off with Miguel doing that like that the breathe, and we all knew
Yeah.
it, like that once you do that, it was that grito, and then what
It's
color
fun.
is the sky? Ay mi amor, ay mi amor.
Yeah, like Ay mi amor, ay mi amor.
You tell me that it's red. Ay mi amor, ay mi amor. Oh, I love it. I love that song.
I also want to say real quick, I want to stay on the music topic, but I just want to say real quick before I forget. I like Miguel's afterlife look when he looks like a skeleton with the hoodie up.
Yeah, with the red hoodie and the face paint.
I hope kids were out dressed like that for Halloween
Oh
when
yeah.
this movie came out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw that a lot. Like here.
That is such a cool costume idea.
It was so cute. There is a little boy in my children's ministry at church who looked he looks just like Miguel.
Little Miguelito?
Yeah, little Miguelitititito. And his name was Logan. We would call him Loganito. Just
That's good.
add on top. He looked just like Miguel. He even had dimple, no dimple. Dimple, no dimple.
He had one dimple?
Yeah, one dimple.
Man, that's all right. So you're telling me he dressed up as Miguel?
Yeah.
He did?
Well, we don't celebrate Halloween. But
I know this was for Hallelujah night.
This was not for Hallelujah night, but
What?
his mom bought him a red hoodie, and he came to church one day, not with the face paint, but he came in the red hoodie and in jeans, and we were like, Logan, you look like Miguel. And as soon as I told him that, he was probably like 7 or 8 at the time, and he goes, "Hi," and we were like, "Ah, yeah, good job, Logan."
So nobody ever painted his face?
Mm-mm.
So the time has passed.
No skulls in church.
Not in church.
Not in
For
church.
Hallelujah night.
No.
That's another thing. There's a lot of skulls in this movie. I don't think my mom will like this.
I
I didn't even
yeah.
think I could tell her I saw it.
I think I remember talking about like things that our moms didn't like, and you mentioned skulls, and I was like, "Ooh, okay."
My mom, yeah, she does not like skulls. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Even your example was the beginning of that James Bond movie, because that takes place
Yeah,
during Dia de los Muertos.
yeah, No Time to Die, right? Or no, that was the newest one.
Yeah, the
Before
one right
that one.
before it, Spectre.
Yeah, there you go.
That one opens on Day of the Dead. And you know what though? Like my mom was the same. She didn't like all the skulls in this movie, but she was like, "I'll give it a pass because they do Mexico right. Like
Yeah.
they have mariachi music." The
All right,
mari-
so could we start poking holes again, or
I mean, so you gave me what, Un Poco Loco 1, Remember Me 2, and then the rest is just kind of because you don't remember.
it wouldn't be fair. It would just be random placements. I would have to hear it again. I'll hear them again and report back.
I like all the music, so it's really hard to rank it. Even when I was like getting this question ready for you, I was like, "Ooh, I know
So Un
my one
Poco
and
Loco is your number one.
absolutely, yeah."
Okay, and
Remember
Remember
Me
Me.
is 2. I think number 3 is that last song, the Proud Corazon. The Our
Okay,
love for each other will live on forever.
yeah,
And then number 4 is La Llorona. La Llorona de Azul Celeste.
that's what it's called.
It's called La Llorona, yeah.
They called it
Aunque
following
mi
the urban
vida
legend
cueste
in Mexico.
llorona. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a traditional Mexican song. It's old. Llorona de
Oh,
azul
it is. Oh, okay.
celeste.
So probably the song came first.
The song was probably written around the same time as that legend. Like, you don't know what came first, like the chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then The World is Mi Familia is the last one. That doesn't mean I don't like it, but it's just, I like the La Llorona, like the way it builds up and like you hear the claps and the way
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
presented in the movie. I love it. We also get to hear the grandma sing, like, after so long of seeing her against music. She finds it's weird because that she finds like a healing in it when she starts singing it, and Hector's playing the guitar. It's like
That's true.
that's how they like forgive each other, and well, like she forgives him and loves him again because she's finally dealing with that trauma and that hurt that she went through in her life.
I didn't really get into it, but when she broke the guitar, that hurt me.
Oh, oh, that hurt me so bad.
I'm a big fan of seeing things handcrafted like that
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much
Mm-hmm.
emotion and love when you make something like that.
Dedication and just
Yeah.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like nails. Yeah, nails on the guitar. Everything was just so.
It was painted.
It was very. It was clever about it. Like he
Yeah.
used whatever he had. And I think it made it that much more special. I wish it carried on throughout the movie. And that's why when she broke it, I feel like it was breaking. I don't know. It's like breaking Captain America's shield or ripping Indiana Jones's hat or like to me, I thought it was so special. It was so special. And he practiced with that guitar and taught himself
Mhm.
how to play.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that hurt. I wish it never happened.
I do too, but he got a better guitar in the end.
I would say they're on the same level. I mean, come on. I
I
get
think
it. I know that the new guitar is very nice, but that was his. He made it.
I love though that they have that impact in that family, because so many times when you're doing something that's against the flow of your family, that's how they'll react. And that's how they'll, even if it's to a super drastic measure, but that's just like one of the great things about family is, yes, you can do these really intense things, but in the end, when there's like forgiveness and there's love and there's acceptance, they're able to, have that happy ending at the end of the movie.
That just shows that there's a lot of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very very passionate people in this family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I gotcha. So can I do a couple more hole poking or no?
One more.
All right. There's no restrooms in the afterlife, but they
Okay,
eat
you
all
know
the
what?
time.
Let's go on to the question.
They go to the real world and they
Uh-huh.
grab tamales and food that they leave them, and then they go back and eat it.
They just absorb it into their
Where
spirit.
does it go?
You know when after Hector sings that like Juanita song, everyone loves Juanita,
Yeah, okay, all right.
and he takes a shot of that tequila.
Where does it go?
I was looking at his abdomen, like, am I gonna see it splash down or something? And no, it just disappeared.
No, I was looking at his jaw. It should have spilled through his jaw. I should have never made it through his spine.
I was looking at him. I was like, where'd it go?
I was waiting for a splash. There was no
I
splash.
love that. Her
Knuckles.
knuckles they drag on the floor. That's not how it goes. There's children present.
Well, what did he mean by knuckles?
Are you asking seriously?
No.
I love the part of the song where he says, "And if I weren't so ugly,"
Yeah, I like that part.
after explaining her.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's what made the song really nice. Because he
Yeah.
explained like a ugly woman, right? And then he's like, I'm uglier than her, and I'm so ashamed. Like I love her, and I'm so ashamed to
If
talk
I
to her or
weren't
whatever.
so ugly,
Yeah.
she might maybe give me a chance.
Yeah. I think that's a good song.
It was sweet.
Yeah. All right, that's number one. Then Un Poco
No,
Loco.
no. You're just saying that. No. It's Un Poco Loco, everybody. He's just likes to troll.
All right.
This is just more. Now he's just poking holes in my heart instead of this movie.
Okay.
So, Tony, this film opened up at number 1 in Mexico, in the country's highest grossing film. It surpassed a certain movie that was previously the number 1 movie in Mexico.
Oh.
What movie do you think that was?
Oh, interesting.
You have 5 guesses.
Okay. All right. Can I get hints as I get them wrong?
Yeah.
All right. Number 1 movie in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got topped by Coco.
Yeah.
And Coco came out.
In 2017.
All right, so Avengers.
Yeah, that's it.
Really?
Yeah, that was it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you got
it. That's why we do this podcast. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Wrap it up, everybody. It was a good episode.
Oh,
First
I'm gonna ride
try.
that high today. I'm gonna ride that high.
First try. Good job.
Who needs 5 guesses? Wow. So it beat Avengers.
It beat Avengers
Okay.
as the highest grossing film like in Mexico.
And then I'm sure. Oh, wait a second. Okay. No, that makes sense. But then did Infinity War take it back?
I don't know about current. I just know that
all right.
when this movie came out, it said in 3.5 weeks, like it released, and then 3.5 weeks later, it became the highest grossing film in Mexico.
Man,
I don't know. I don't know about currently, but yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking into like the production of this movie, and they went all out. This is the longest production for a Pixar movie. It was from 2011 up until 2017. So what is that, like?
Whoa, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, like 6 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
It was the longest. They had the animators and writers travel to Mexico. They went to Mexico City and a place called Oaxaca. So, you know how like Mama Coco wears that embroidered like nightgown? The white nightgown with the flowers? Those are called Oaxaca dresses. And I have a couple. Like they sell them here and they sell them in Mexico, but they originated in Oaxaca. So the city that they live in, like their little hacienda and everything, is based on the city Oaxaca. And I think there's a little controversy because Mama Coco is actually modeled after a real woman that they met while in Oaxaca. and they took her likeness, but they never gave her credit. And that was like a point of controversy. But that also
Mm.
does play to the accuracy of how much they wanted to nail the land, the city, how the houses and the architecture are, and how the people dress and everything.
Okay.
But they mixed in a little bit of themselves in this film. It's directed by Lee, was it Unkrich? But it's co-written by Adrian Molina and Matthew Aldrich. And Adrian Molina is Mexican, or at least I think he's Latino. I don't know specifically, but he did talk a lot about growing up Hispanic and growing up speaking Spanish and having all that culture in there. But yeah, Adrian Molina said that the scene where Miguel is learning how to play guitar from watching Ernesto de la Cruz, that was based on his own experience because he said he grew up in the 90s watching like ABC, Disney Channel, and The Wonderful World of Disney. And he always yearned to be a writer. He's like, I want to make those kinds of movies. I want to work for Disney and make these magical movies. And so, cut to now where he's writing a Pixar movie.
He's at Disney.
He's at Disney.
You just gotta reach out to your dream and hold it tight.
Yeah. Another one is, the songs were written by the people who wrote the songs for Frozen.
When did Frozen come out?
Uh,
Before or after?
I think it's before. I don't know why I feel like it's 2015. 2013.
Okay.
2013 was Frozen. And they're Mexican. It's Robert Lopez and Christian Lopez. And it's the first time a husband and wife duo have written songs for Pixar. And they were given like a firsthand screening of it to kind of get the emotion of it all, or at least like a firsthand look at the plot. And Robert Lopez especially felt connected to it because his own grandma had just passed away. So when he wrote Remember Me, it was almost like as a letter to his grandma.
That's very sweet.
That's very sweet.
Sometimes things just line up because that song just sounds so special.
It does, doesn't it? Like you can feel the emotion from it.
Hmm. What were you gonna say?
I have a trivia for you, but I think it might be too hard for you.
Hmm.
It might be too hard. So
I
I'll
already
just tell
won
it's
one trivia.
yeah, I'll let you keep that win. I don't want to soil it.
Thank
So,
you.
Coco is not her real name. She does that's a nickname. She does have a real name.
And they said it in the movie.
No,
Oh, okay.
but it is it's just kind of a thing in Mexico. If your nickname is Coco, that means your real name is Socorro. So,
Oh, I like that.
yeah, so her name is probably Socorro, and that's a nickname. For a nickname you put Coco.
It's probably so not confirmed,
It's not confirmed, but it's just yeah, it's
but
probable.
more than likely because that's a common thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was a good little reveal when Hector said, "I wanted to go back to my Coco," and it's like that's well, I thought that's a unique name.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I have a great grandma Coco,
exactly.
and that's how that connected.
And that's even how he goes, Coco? And then
Yeah, but if it's no, never mind. No more poking holes.
Tony.
No, that's it.
Tony.
I'll leave it
Please.
as is.
Thank you.
All right.
I was thinking there was a time where my dad and I we went into this like frame. I was telling you about this earlier today. It was they do custom framing. And we walk in and we tell them what we want and they say, "Okay, like write your name down, like we can get your info." And we put, De La Garza, that's our last name. And this guy looks up at me and goes, like the owner, he goes, "Oh, are y'all related to this to the De La Garza that just came in earlier?" And we were like, "What?" So he starts telling us that the customer before us was also named De La Garza. And I looked at my dad and I was like, we don't have any other family that live in the area because all my De La Garza resident like relatives went to go live in the hill country of Texas. And so cut to that was when we went for our first frame order. Cut to 2 weeks later, we go back to pick up the frames. And we're in there, we're talking to the owner, and behind us comes a guy and he's like, "Hey, I'm here." And they're like, "What's the name?" And he goes, Della Garza. And we turn around like, "Are we related?" We met him. He was there. And so we were like, "Oh," and so we start talking like, "Who are you related to? Who's your who's your mom or who's your dad, and because maybe we're related and stuff, but we're not related.
Yeah, I think you guys made the right choice because De La Garza is a unique last name. So it's like
Hmm.
there's got to be some connection. If I met somebody with my last name, it's like all right, keep it moving. And I have met a lot of people with my last. It's so common.
Yeah, for us, it's like it's very rare for me to meet another De La Garza. That's
Yeah.
that's not a very common one, but I've met two people with my last name. And one of them was at church. He was an older man and he came in and he was registering like his grandson or whatever. And he said De La Garza, and I looked up at him and I was like, "Where you from?"
Uncle?
Theo,
Dear.
is it you?
Oh, you just reminded me. I hope I wrote it down. Where does he? Because I like the way Miguel when he met his afterlife family.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. I think I did write it down. I love the way he pronounced his name. Oh, he's like Papa Julio.
Papa Julio?
No, it was
Julio?
like actually like Papa Julio. Hear it back. Hear it back.
We're gonna have to go back.
Yeah,
Back to the Julio.
Papa Julio.
Julio. You gotta breathe in for that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I also want to give a shout out to Miguel turning into a skeleton. The longer that he's in
Oh, that's so cool,
afterlife,
right?
it reminded me of Back to the Future. You know, when you're running out of time.
Oh.
Do you remember when he's spending too much time in the past and like his parents haven't gotten together yet? Like his hand is kind of like fading away because if his parents
Yeah.
don't get together,
He doesn't
he's phasing out
exist.
of existence. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, except I don't know if they're inspired by that or not, but it was
They
very
might
cool.
be. That definitely sounds inspirable.
Inspired by. There's a word for that, isn't it?
I feel like there is, but I can't think of it.
Aspirational?
Inspirational? Mm,
Not a good night for
for words today.
yeah, for words, yeah.
You know what though? I found this out recently, and I wonder if it kind of got past the Pixar filmmakers too. I found out that Dia de los Muertos is actually 2 days. It's not just one day, and that kind of threw me for a loop because I always thought it was one
Mm.
day, but apparently,
Dia de los Muertos is 2 days?
yeah. But I guess it doesn't count, but it also does because it starts November 2nd. Well, like this year was November 2nd, but it starts with Dia de los Angeles, or Dia de los saints, really. And that's supposed to be the day for when young children passed away. Like when little,
Oh, okay.
and that's like their day.
There weren't any dead children.
Yeah, yeah. So I was maybe that's why they didn't like acknowledge the existence of that. But that's supposed to be like day one, and then day two is Dia de los Muertos, which is the general public, the Day
Just
of the Dead.
okay. That makes sense though, because if they're saying Day of the Dead, that's the only day they're gonna focus on. If it's Dia de los Angeles, then yeah, that's not the day the movie's taking place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think you'd want people like me asking, how did all those kids die?
Oh my gosh, the last thing we need is
There's no
you
skeleton
poking
kids.
holes in Dia de los Angeles.
There's no skeleton kids, Caroline.
Oh my gosh, no.
I got a chance to look at my notes again. Got to give a quick shout out to the cameos by Buzz, Woody, and Mike Wazowski.
Where was that?
Oh, you didn't see it?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It is when
I'm gonna
we
Google it.
first see what happened.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, go ahead. It's so obvious. I'm surprised it passed your eye.
Oh, it's piñatas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I did not even notice that. I see those. I see piñatas like that. We have a street here called Couples Street, and that's like where you go to buy piñatas. And I can't. We were gonna buy piñatas for the party last year. I remember we first drove down Couple Street to find those star looking ones, and we didn't. We could only find like characters. And I remember seeing a Buzz and Woody.
Didn't we grab some pinatas?
We did. We bought them from that store, the one that we went into.
How does Carl say
Piata.
it? I'm glad you remember that. Piatas.
I remember he had full seriousness. He was like, "We're gonna go buy some piatas."
Spanish is question.
Spanish and squish it.
Okay.
Piata. I got a New Yorker fight. Tony, say a New Yorker.
Say Piata, New Yorker.
Yeah, in a New York style.
Piata. We're gonna buy piatas. That's what Carl says it. That's my Carl impression.
Praise the mighty king. We're gonna buy some piatas. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I think you can't top that.
Now, did you think that Hector was gonna be forgotten?
I let myself go with the flow of the movie, but my rational brain is like, nah, that'll be too mean.
I mean, they already broke the guitar. They're not gonna kill Hector.
Yeah. For a moment, I thought they would kill Miguel because I'm like, how?
Oh,
Yeah, because I started remembering like, oh, it's gonna be about the Day of the Dead. Is he gonna die accidentally? But then he has to die in a very like the least brutal way, and they can't show it. It has to be off screen, and I couldn't even think of a way. Like everything just seems so harsh. Like if he fell down a well or something like that. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
But then the interdimensional guitar strum that he did was a good way to do that. But yeah, I thought Hector would be okay. I knew they were gonna save him, and I forgot to mention that, but I didn't want to say I love the way it built up to Remember Me when he sung it to Coco because you knew that's what he had to do. That's the only way she was gonna remember.
Oh, I love that. I love
But
that
even
so
though it was
much.
telegraphed so much, it was still like you want, or I guess I just got to speak for myself. That I wanted to see that they built it up so well. I'm like, please, please, please. And he's like, talking about him, showing the picture to her. He's like, all right, now pick up the guitar. Pick
Yep.
up the guitar. Come
Yep.
on, let's do this.
And when like she has Alzheimer's and my grandfather had Alzheimer's. And when I saw this movie, I saw it first with my mom. My mom was already losing it there. Like he hadn't even started singing and she was already bawling her eyes out because they say with Alzheimer's, the last thing that goes is your hearing. And even like as you're dying, the last thing that goes is your hearing. And psychologically, music and your hearing can activate parts of your brain that were previously thought to have faded away. And so it's so beautiful how they use that, like a very real thing that people today go through in the movie. And you could see like the life kind of returning to her, the way her fingers move and the way she starts singing the song with him. Like that gets me every time when she starts joining in. And my favorite like detail that they do after that is it's not just she remembers him and now since Miguel went on this journey, he also remembers him. No, it ends with her talking about her dad to everybody in that room. Like she starts pulling out the letters and telling Miguel and like his whole family's in there, like telling him about her dad. And so now, because of that, the whole family will also remember Hector.
That's the part of the movie that stuck with me the most, or like the bigger message that I took from it. And it's about remembering your family, loving them, but how important it is to continue talking about them, even if they're not gone, like giving them a call, telling them I love you, things like that. Because I think we spoke about this before, unrelated to the movie, just, and I forgot how it came up, but you know how it came with like how you could just forget about people,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be family, like not your immediate family that you're living with or see every day. Like maybe it's like a aunt or uncle that you don't really see all that often, maybe only during holidays. There are some days that you don't think about them at all, but I bet there's days that you'll never go a day without thinking about like, your brother or whoever, a friend, there's just people that you just think about every day. And then there's people that you probably don't think about for a while, maybe like once a week. And then eventually maybe once a month. And then it's like, that kind of scares me. And this movie is kind of like that. It's like there's only one person left. Coco is the last person left who remembers Hector, and very vaguely at this point. And if she never passed on the stories and memories of love, then yeah, he would have been gone forever. And I'm sure you heard that quote. I forgot exactly how it goes, but it's like, people die twice when they first go, and then the second time is when they say their name for the last time. So it's like the
Mhm.
last time they're spoken of. I feel like that's very very deep, very emotional, and it's true. I feel like it is important to keep their memories going, keep their stories going, and that's just is relevant right now before like we even pass away. My mom has this it's more like, funny and then a little bit serious, but my mom would like talk to my sister and say like, "Hey, let's do a video call. I don't want I don't want my grandkids to forget about me, calling my sister." And then they do like a video call and they don't forget her. But my mom is just like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't want them to forget about their grandma." So, because my mom's in New York and we live in Florida, just in case for context. And yeah, so I just find that like, that was the biggest takeaway that I got is like, talk about the people you love, share the stories. If you still have them in your life, call them up, spend time with them.
I absolutely agree. And like my context is a little bit different, but I was feeling it this viewing around. We were talking my dad and I about how like, going forward into the future when I get married, when I have kids, like the way that they're going to know, like the way my kids are going to know about my mom is through the stories. And mom was such a prolific storyteller. I feel like she had a story for every occasion. And like you heard some of them, she would call you and tell you all these, family stories and stuff that she went through and things like that. And even, when she passed away, we would have people come over the house and bring us food, and they would tell us like, "Oh, your mom did this, your mom did that." And I wish that I wrote them down, but thank goodness I have a good memory, so I was able to store up a lot of those stories in my own head, and then I have my own stories that my mom told me, and those are just things that like this movie reminds me that I have to remember those things because going forward, that's the way that that's our connection to her. That's our way of kind of, even though like, we're Christians, so we believe that there's not a final death and things like that, but that's the connection here. That's the connection that we have here to always remember her, to even like, I know for some people the way they deal with their grief is to never talk about that person again. I think President Teddy Roosevelt, he lost his first wife, and he said it was so painful that he even forbid people from saying their name, like from saying her name. And for talking about her. He removed all the photos of her in the house and stuff like that. And I don't like that. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to be like that at all. If anything, I want to talk about her more, and I want to keep telling stories about her more to keep her fresh and alive in my mind. And this movie was a really good way to remind me to do that.
Yeah, everyone deals with it differently. How you explain Teddy is like, it sounds like just suppressing it. I don't
Hmm.
know if that's very healthy, but yeah, your mom told me a lot of stories. Like, I was very just surprised with how much she knew about your family lineage, because that's just something that I don't even know about. Like, I don't know anything beyond my grandparents, like my I don't know anything about my great grandparents or before them. And then yeah, she was just telling me about, like how her and your dad met, and then about her parents, and then your great grandparents. And
Yeah.
it was just so nice to hear like every story, the weddings, how each of them met. And then
And like that's something that my family on my mom's side at least, they did a good job with that. Each generation knew stories from not just the previous but way onward. Like we have stories from each generation up until we have like a Francisco Casas who like helped build the Alamo. Like we know stories all the way up to there. And that's something that going forward, I want to be like that now. Like I want to tell my kids, like, oh yeah, you have a great 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 father who did this, and a great great grandma who did that, and things like that. I want to keep that tradition going because it's so important to have that lineage, like have those stories and to pass that on in the future.
Yeah, I think it's important to know just in general, then also just to give you a sense of like that connection and like, hey, this is you. This runs in your blood. You know, in this movie, it's like we're musicians. You know,
Yeah.
for whatever family, it'll be something different. But I think it's just good to know that, like, hey, we're pioneers. Hey, we're travelers. Hey, this is
We are
my great grandfather.
explorers.
Our great great grandfather was a fisherman. It's
Yeah.
in our blood.
Like, my mom would always tell me, like, because she was, casas, so she was like, "The casas women are cooks," like, because like, my great-grandma, my grandma, my mom, they were all, like, amazing cooks. So when I was a little girl and she was teaching me, the basics, like flipping tortillas, stirring beans, my mom would be like, "Alright, Caroline, like, come on, you gotta know this because 'cause we're cooks, like, we know how to cook." And so even, like, now, today, I love cooking. I love making food, and that's like, was it like a love language? It's like acts of service. I love cooking for people because that's something that is in the family that was told to me from a young age where it's like, we're this.
And then you feel it surging inside of you, like, all right,
Oh, I feel it.
it's my destiny.
Every time I make chili, I feel it. For each lasagna that comes out of the oven,
The
I
extra
feel
bean
it.
chili.
That extra kidney bean chili. You'll have it soon enough.
All right,
I
all right. I hope so.
hope you're here when we have it, or else it's just going to be the three of us.
I I would imagine. I mean, unless a plane crashed.
Let's go on to a lighter thing here. Okay, anyway. That's not what I meant.
Okay,
That's not how I interpreted that at all.
that's my
There
interpretation.
you go, poking holes into even the stories and the
You're
metaphors.
saying poking holes. I'm just thinking about things.
You think about things in a very different way.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just glad this is a movie that can actually escape the hell accusation. Like, it has a valid reason now.
Yeah. When I saw them, this is heaven.
Finally.
No, I was more like, is this heaven?
Is this heaven? Question mark. The guy holding the butterfly.
Yeah. But Caroline, where do they go after they get forgotten?
Hell is the final death. It's just they cease to exist. Everyone loves Juanita.
Is that your answer?
Uh. I don't think about it that hard. You think about it too hard.
It's fun though. You don't think so?
No.
All right. I guess we're done talking about the movie then.
I was gonna say about the alebrijes, but I can't really think of anything. They're just cute. The alebrijes are cute.
Oh, like the mythical
Mm,
creatures, or like the guiders to the ancestral plane, or I
yeah,
forgot what
like
their
they're
role was.
spirit guides or whatever.
Yeah,
Hmm. Who's a good spirit guide?
I kind of didn't get what happened with. Oh, you know what? His name was Dante, Caroline.
Dante.
That got me thinking:
Oh no.
is this heaven
Oh no.
or
Oh no. You know what, everybody? It
you know?
was a good episode.
Come on,
It
think
was
about it.
it was a good episode, everyone.
No, I never thought that, but I was confused. How did he become a spirit guide, or was he always secretly? Or are they saying dogs have a sixth sense or something?
The
Well,
Frida Kahlo said something like that certain breed of dog is like protective and caring or whatever, and like that's why he's a an alebrije or something like that.
all right, yeah, I kind of missed that one.
I
He's
don't know
cute
it
though.
verbatim, but yeah, she said like, "Oh, he's a." I can't pronounce it, but it's like XOLO. They a lot of the words are spelled like with the Mayan language, and
Oh, okay.
I always get mixed up with those. It's amazing I know how to pronounce Oaxaca. Because if you were to see how Oaxaca is spelled,
X's in there.
yeah, I'll type it.
All right,
That's Oaxaca.
all right. It's Oaxaca.
Uh huh.
Oaxaca. Hey, that's a cool spelling. I wish
Oh
my
wait,
name was spelled like
I missed a letter.
that.
I already can't spell Oaxaca.
Okay, Here's the correct spelling: Oaxaca.
Yeah.
So an extra A in there.
Yeah. Oaxaca.
So the X is an H sound.
Yeah.
Oaxaca. All right, that's not too bad.
Oaxaca. But yeah, that was Coco. You want me to do the outro?
Yeah, unless if we spoke about everything that we got out of this movie, I think is our time.
I think it's time. Everybody, I hope you remember us and our
Oh,
episodes coming out weekly. And remember to give a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're listening to us on YouTube. If you're hearing us on your favorite podcasting platform and you're a new listener, give us a follow. Maybe hit that bell icon for notifications for when we upload. And if you're a returning listener, give us an honest review.
thank you for listening, guys. We made it a year. We'll keep going if you keep listening. And maybe if you don't listen, right? I mean, we like doing this, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Adios.